Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity Church. We are going to begin our service, if everyone will please pay attention to our PowerPoint behind me. And we're going to say our affirmation for this month of May. So let's affirm this together. I am filled with appreciation for life. I am grateful. And now we'll stand and we'll sing our opening song, which is by Faith Rivera, and it's called Stand Together.
Good morning. Today's daily word is spiritual seeker. I am continually evolving as a spiritual seeker. When I hunger for satisfaction or feel uncertain of who I am or what I should be doing, I turn to God, the source of my fulfillment. I explore my divine nature by deepening my awareness of God within through prayer and meditation. I am open to new ideas as I read thought-provoking articles and books. I am free to contemplate, accept the ideas that resonate with me, and set others aside for later consideration. This practice of exploration and reflection helps me understand who I am as a child of God. With each step I take, I discover more about myself. Every path I explore opens me to new ideas and further expansion of my mind and soul. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Matthew 5:6. Again, today's daily word is spiritual seeker, and our affirmation is, I am continually evolving as a spiritual seeker. Together, I am continually evolving as a spiritual seeker, as a thinker.
And so I invite you now to visualize our sanctuary as a beautiful heart. So let's just see this heart moving in and around and through each one of us. And we allow this heart to fill us. Fill with love, the caring and the compassion that we have for ourselves and each other. Breathing into this wonderful heart space. Let it be full. Let it nurture from that place within you. And right now, if you are in need of prayer, or know of anyone in need of prayer, see them in our heart. And if you know of any circumstance in our world, in your life in need of prayer, see them in our heart as we sing the prayer for protection. And now I invite you to get comfortable where you are. Close your eyes if that feels right to you. And we begin our time of centering and prayer by just breathing. We take in a deep breath, that very breath of life that is God. And we hold it for a moment. And as we exhale, we begin to relax. And breathing in again deeply. And holding it just for a moment. As we exhale this time, we just quiet our mind. We allow those thoughts to float on by. And we calm our emotions, affirming peace, be still. And once more we breathe in. And as we exhale this time, we rest in the consciousness of our heart. We truly know that this is our time of being here right now. We set aside anything that keeps us from being here. And we allow ourselves to be the light that we are. We know that this is our time of being and allowing that connection of God within. to be a conscious effort on our part. And we allow ourselves to feel and be full right here and right now. This is our time to know that there is just one presence and one power active in our life, right here and right now, God the Good. This is our moment of knowing and trusting, believing and having faith in all things working together for good. In these moments, whatever situations you may be facing, whatever experiences that you're having in your life right now, if they are good experiences, allow them to fill you and nurture you. If they are challenging experiences, truly, just so let them go. Set aside these moments, this time, of knowing that God is the source of our supply, in and around and through us. We are blessed every moment of every day, and we allow ourselves to be filled by the whole Spirit of God, that holy presence that lights our way. The Spirit of the Lord goes before me, making easy, joyous, and successful my way. I am grateful. And as we go into a time of quiet prayer, whatever may be in your heart, allow that to come forth. Truly ask, seek, and knock, and allow that loving presence to fill you right now in the silence. And now we take another deep breath. And as we exhale, we know we are filled with that spirit, that love, that joy that is God. And we are grateful. And we say thank you, God, for loving us and reminding us that at any moment we can connect with you, be filled and full and loved, right here and right now. And so it is. Amen. We'll try it. Different words. We're all good. Thank you, everyone. But we're doing that today especially because our chaplains are coming forward at the end of my lesson today. Happy dance for Kayla and Diana. So they've been studying and learning and practicing, and they're ready to be on board and be available for you at the services before and after. And I'll read a list of all their accomplishments in a minute when we do it. But we're just so blessed. But that's why we did that song. And Lisa, thank you for joining me on it. We just kind of winged it this morning just for them because we love them. So today is a new day. It's a continuation of our month of appreciation. And so today we're going to talk about being grateful for having courage. So sometimes does your life feel like it's filled with one difficulty after another? Anybody ever have that happen? Do you solve one problem only to find out that sometimes there's another one just right there? And it might even be bigger than the one that you went through? Yeah, we all have that. And so what happens when we have difficult experiences, changes in our lives, maybe little critters running around your house, maybe you have a health challenge, maybe there's something in your life that you're facing that it's bringing up fear. Anybody ever have that? Yeah, and so when we have those experiences, we want to know that we have all that courage and strength within us to move forward. And Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, wrote this about courage. Courage is a spiritual quality that enables you to remain poised and centered in God amidst the great difficulties and danger. Courage is not something that changes the events of the world as much as it changes your relationship to those events. Did any of you watch any of the Invictus games or anything about that this week? It was fabulous. It was so inspiring. And that's what brought that thought of courage to me this week. In watching, all of these wounded soldiers from all around the world coming together to compete. And I could only imagine what it is like and has been like for them to get the courage to go through what they've all gone through. And that's why I love what Charles Fillmore said, because courage changes our relationship to events. And so when we take that time to go within, and it was promised to us in the Old Testament, we learned about this in Isaiah. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous hand. And so we've been promised forever that we will have everything we need at any given moment to make it through. Does it feel like that when we're in it? No, says Kathy. Yes, isn't it challenging? It is a challenge for us. So if we look at it as a challenge when we're going through a difficult time and we have to learn to be still, we have to learn to go within. And in 12 steps groups, they call it HALT. Whenever you're too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, you got to stop. And so when you were little, did you learn what a stop sign meant? What happens when you come to a corner and you're at a stop sign? 3 things that you do. Stop, look, and listen. We can apply that to our spiritual lives. If when you're having a great challenge in your life, and you walked into, I actually need this. Sash, will you go into my office and the desk the part that pulls out, and will you bring me the mirror? I forgot to bring it. Okay, so here's what I want you to do if you're facing a challenge in your life. I want you to look into a mirror. And when you look into that mirror, do you see fear? I'm going to have a demonstration. Kathy, you said you're going through something. Let's have this adventure come up with Kathy. She wished she would have kept her mouth shut. Okay, so Kathy, she doesn't have to tell us what it is, but you're taller today. Wow. Yes. So you're going through something, or maybe you've been through something.
Yeah.
All right, so when in the middle of going through a difficult time or a challenge, and you do this,
Yeah.
what do you see?
I don't see fear.
You don't see fear, but what do you see?
I see me and I'm looking away.
She's looking away from herself. But I want you to look at your eyes. Look right into you.
Okay.
And what do you see?
Straight.
She sees strength coming through. What else do you see?
Courage?
Courage. She's got courage going through this. So the point is that you stop when you're feeling difficult. Thank you, Kathy, for doing that. Bless her heart for doing that. Yes, we'll thank her. So, and I'll pass this around. For any of you who's going through a challenging time, if you stop, look, and then listen. Dawn's cracking up over here.
No, I said give it to Jim.
Give it to Jim. He's going through something? Everybody's going through something. Are we all going through something? You can raise your hand.
Absolutely.
We all have challenges. But this is what came to me while I was doing this lesson. To get the courage that God has within us and has given us, we have to just stop. We have to look, and we have to look at ourselves because, Jim,
Okay.
is there any fear on your face? Is there fear in your eyes? Is there fear in your heart? No, there is no fear. So when we stop and take a look at who we truly are, which is this wonderful God being on this planet, we're all children of God, you will not see fear. You will not see the challenge, because you can't see the words in your head, can you? So if you're afraid of something, you can't see them on a ticker tape going across your head when you're looking in the mirror. No, you have to just be with that in that moment. And what do we say? Unity teaches us a million affirmations. I am beautiful, I'm talented, I'm creative. I have all the courage I need within me. I have all the faith within me to what? Move mountains. And what are the mountains that we're facing? The thoughts in our mind. And they're not visible. What is visible is the beautiful being that is in the front of that mirror. And that is what we learn to do. We stop right where we are. And everybody can see a mirror. And if you don't have a mirror, you can see your reflection in something. And we often know what we say to ourselves when we walk by and see our reflection. Is it a happy dance? Not often. We see the things that we don't like about our body, and they go into our mind and create the criticism, the negativity, the things that we say about ourselves that are not true, because we are beautiful children of God. Jesus said, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. So when you look into that mirror, allow the peace that is you to shine through. This little light of mine, what are we going to do? We're going to let it shine. That's exactly what we're here to do. And Jesus said, in the world you will have tribulation, but take heart. I have overcome the world. So no matter what difficulties that you might be facing, you can indeed overcome them. And so when I say to stop, how do we stop when we're doing something? We pay attention to our breath. Because what happens when we become afraid? We kind of stop breathing. Or it becomes real shallow or fast. And that's when the fear takes over. So the way to stop is to just, okay, I'm noticing my breath right now. Okay, this isn't how I survive. So I'm going to take a deep breath. Because right now, many of you are thinking of those things that are bothering you, aren't you? So let's take a deep breath together. And let's let it all out. And you do that several times, and what happens? You begin to feel relaxed. And then we can remember, oh wait, I'm a child of God. I belong here. I am loved. I am cared for. I am willing to be of service. I'm willing to share my life with someone else. These are the things that will come to mind if you stop, if you look, and then you can listen. Some of the things that we are afraid of, they might feel very real in that moment. Isn't that true? And a few weeks ago or last month, I shared a story about Maxwell Maltz when he was talking about someone walking down the street at night. And what happens? You hear something behind you. And the next thing you know they're coming to get you. And it turns out in that story, it was a friend wanting to return his hat. But in the meantime, he's running. And what is he running from? We all want to run from the fear. But we have the opportunity of letting it come in and letting it pass on by. That's why the mirror work is so powerful. You know, Louise Hay does that. And if you want to change your life, for 30 days, every day, look in that mirror and start to tell yourself how wonderful you are, how much of a blessing you are to be here on this earth. I love you exactly as you are. How many of us say that? You know, a week ago, it was a week already, a week and a half ago, that I had this infection and it was on my face. And so I have to tell you, when my lip was really fat and red and ugly, I didn't want to go anywhere. So I made myself go out into the world and I documented what it was like and how I felt to have this infection and to be feeling not so great and to watch people's reaction to me. And it was very interesting because most everyone looked at me and they went, "Whoa, what happened to you?" Or they didn't say anything. And it began to feel less than. So I just wrote it all down. How do I feel about going into the world looking different than I normally am? I found myself putting my head down. I was like talking like this, you know, because I didn't want anybody to look at me because I felt different. So I had to muster up myself, going home, writing it all down, looking in my mirror and saying, "Deb, I love you just exactly as you are, fat lip and all." Was it easy? No. Was I afraid at times? Yes, because this particular infection can take over your whole body. By the grace of God, it didn't happen. And it's already healing completely without an ugly mark on my face, which was also a fear. I shared that with my daughter. I said, "What if I have this big hole in my face?" And she goes, "I never thought about that, Mom." And so I had to pray some more. I had to look in the mirror more. That's where I got this lesson from. It's like I had to learn to look for the good in every situation because I too can be afraid. So I have to do what it is I tell you to do and ask you to do, which is look, listen, hear that still small voice within that says, "Deb, I love you just the way you are. I'm here for you. You can lean on me." That's our second song that we're going to have. Because there's always that power within us that we can lean on. And when we're going through a difficult time, we may not want to look at it. We forget to ask God to bless us and nurture us and care for us and bring us through. Spirit, the word spirit comes from the Latin meaning more at heart. So that spiritual energy that we have within us comes from our heart. That's what courage is. Courage is coming from our heart. There's no lack when it comes to courage because faith is there and faith will pull you through. As we learn to face our fears, we learn to be honest with ourselves and what scares us. That is a step in healing, is to take a look at it. What is it that I'm afraid of? And we do A, B, and C. And then we say, is this really true? Is this really what's happening? And we learn, Byron Katie teaches that. Is this really true? And we learn that it is not. And so we face our fears by owning it, by taking a look at it, and by letting ourselves become free. We stop, look, and listen. And then we learn to apply the teachings that we know to our lives today so that we can move forward. And we're taking a step towards a commitment in faith when we feel those difficulties happening. So I invite you, are you willing to look at yourselves in the mirror? When you have a challenge that you're facing, to say, oh, there's no fear here. There's a beautiful person right here. The person's filled with love. This person is not fearful. Because if we looked at ourselves when we were fearful, what do you think we'd look like? I don't know. Because it doesn't show up in a mirror. It will not show itself in that mirror unless you ask yourself, what do I look like when I'm afraid? And you can put on that face. But the truth is, the fear will never show up because it isn't really there. It isn't really real. It's false evidence appearing real. That's what fear is. So we want to learn to let it go in that moment and say, God, thank you. And usually I get humor. Many of you who know me, I'll make a joke in probably the most inappropriate times, but it works for me to have laughter and to have humor in my life. It's like, what were you thinking? How could you think that you would become deformed by this experience? I don't know, but the thought was there. So I had to do my work. And every day that we do our work, we get to fill ourselves because there's never a lack in our mind, in our heart, for the love that God has for us. And so that's what I invite you to do this week, is to stop, look, and listen. Allow that courage to manifest in you because it already is there. And you've been promised to have this life that you're living. Thank you, everyone. And now, before we're going to have Diana and Carla come up forward. Come on. Yay. Patrick, will you put a lei on Diana for me? Yep, one for Carla. Thank you. Diana, here's your certificate. Oops. Carla, there's your certificate. And I also have, for each of you, these are little angel bracelets. Yes, so there's one for you. For Diana. Your favorite color? I know, I just happen to have those colors. Anyway, they're made by someone that I know, and I always buy them from her because they're angel bracelets. And these two ladies represent angels in our community, our Unity community. And they have been studying, we've been doing it almost a year now because we had challenges that made it not happen. And so week after week, we've met, we've learned, we've prayed, we've experienced lots of things, but they're ready to serve in a bigger level, in a bigger way in our ministry. So we honor them for the courage. Is it taking courage from you to do this? Yes, it is. But they're really, really good. So if you need someone to pray with, feel free to ask either of them to pray with you. They will love you, they will nurture you, and they will care for you. And once a month, they will be your chaplains, and they will be calling you to see how you're doing, because that's the connection that they make with our ministry. And just say, hi. And they'll be your chaplain for a year. So when they have their list, which we have a sign-up sheet over there if you'd like to be on our list of chaplain wellness calls, they will be calling you and letting you know that you're on their prayer list today and moving forward in your spiritual growth. Is there anything that you'd like to say? Carla goes, please don't make me speak. Is there anything? Diana, think about it for a minute. Like why you might have been called to do this and decided to make this level of commitment, because it's a big commitment. They're committed for a year to be chaplains in our ministry.
I wanted to find a way that I could help in the church. And I went to Deb and I said, I'd like to try this, being a chaplain. And she said, okay. So here I am. Let me help you if I can.
That's Carla.
Yeah, that's Carla. Hey. Thank you, Winnie. Diana?
Pretty much the same thing, just to be of service to our church and the people in our church, and to be helpful in any way that I could, and to help to be able to communicate better with all of you as well and myself. Thank you.
Great. And they're, yes. So they're here to help and to serve, to listen, and to pray with you, and to help you through a challenging time. We might even put mirrors in our chaplain bag, because that'll take away all those sad moments, because we have them. And if you have good in your life, they're willing to pray for you for your continued great growth and prosperity. So we honor them, we bless them, and we're so grateful. Thank you too. Okay, Kevin's gonna take a picture.